This is hands down the greatest video game movie ever. Fight me. I'm prepared. I'm charged up. What's up, guys? It's Courtney, one half of the Birds of Deconstruction here, and I'm bringing you my super late review for. Alrighty, that's that's interesting. Fun fact about that theme song: there seems to be this running theme of misinformation some type of way that theme song is from the video game, which is funny because it was specifically made for the movie. That theme song doesn't pop up in any of the games, and they actually don't scream out that in any of the games either. This legendary, iconic theme song was strictly made for the movie, and it's been used in anything Mortal Kombat related since, which is actually amazing when you think about it. But anyway, moving on to the actual super late review. Mortal Kombat is a film that came out in 1995. This movie is great, guys. Like, I remember I didn't get the chance to see this in theaters when it came out, and I was so upset. I was really upset because I grew up playing Mortal Kombat. I wasn't good at it at all, but I grew up playing Mortal Kombat. I didn't get the chance to see this in theaters. I saw it later on home video on VHS. For all the kids that might be watching this video, VHS is a really old piece of technology where everything comes on tape and you need a VCR to play it. Ancient technology. Yeah. But I watched it, and this movie is such a fun movie. It's not the greatest movie ever made. I can admit that, but it's a solid film, and it's really really fun, and it leans into the fact that it's based on Mortal Kombat. Now, if you look up anything regarding this film and like the critical reception of the movie, when it came out, there were mixed reviews regarding the movie. It's fun. Where it does its job and it succeeds, it does it very, very well. And where it fails, I mean, it could be better, just like most movies with mixed reception. This movie has really good action scenes, has pretty competent choreography, and the overall kind of aesthetic of the film. Like, it's a gorgeous film. Like, it's shot on location. It's mainly shot. What I read was that it was mainly shot in L.A., but they did do some location shooting in Thailand. But the set design is really really cool. Like, the on location shooting on the island and the near the monks kind of church or area, whatever like that. I'm losing words right now. That's really really beautiful. Like, it's a really really well shot movie. And even during some of the action scenes, most of the actors, because of the budget of the film, I think it was like 18, 20 million, most of the actors did their own stunts. So there are some of the fight scenes that are kind of cut a particular way because the actors may not be that proficient in martial arts. But a lot of them seem pretty competent, at least to me. Bless the heart of Bridget Nelson, who plays Sonya Blade, because she did all of her action scenes, including the fight scenes. And when she's fighting Kano, it's just absolutely hilarious because of like the positions and poses that she kind of takes after throwing a kick or throwing a punch or something like that. And even during the fight scene with all of like the little masked goons of Shang Tsung, in the dining room, the giant dining room area. Even during that fight, there's a lot of moments where it's like you can tell she doesn't know martial arts, but she's trying her heart out. So salute to you, Bridget. I know she's not watching this video, but I'm still gonna give her a salute. But the action scenes are cut a particular way, yeah. But most of the time, the action scenes are, long takes or long enough takes where you can see what's going on. There are a lot of like close-ups on a punch being thrown or a kick being thrown, and then you see that close-up of a foot connecting to somebody's face or a hand connecting to somebody's face or stomach or something like that. And that can get a little annoying, but for the most part, the action scenes are the choreography is done in one long take. the standout fight scene in this film, honestly, to me, is the forest and dungeon fight scene between Johnny Cage and Scorpion. That's the standout fight scene. In that dungeon scene, which is where most of the fight takes place, because it starts out in the forest. It's kind of like a creepy kind of setup, like Johnny's just in the forest, waiting to see who he's gonna fight. Scorpion pops up, they end up teleporting to like hell or a hellscape. And that's where the majority of the fight takes place. That a lot of those punches and that sequence is done in one take, where you see them countering punches and kicks and kicking and punching each other. Like, it's really, really good. I don't really want to run down the synopsis of the movie, but you know, it loosely follows Mortal Kombat 1 and 2. Essentially, the story is Liu Kang chooses to fight in the Mortal Kombat tournament. His brother went to go fight in it, lost to Shang Tsung, thus his brother was killed. So he's out for revenge. He goes to the monastery, which is probably the word I was looking for earlier, to tell his grandfather, hey, I'm gonna fight in this tournament in order to, get revenge on Shang Tsung. Which is hilarious because he learns, not in that moment, I'm guessing he already had the memo or the letter sent, but he basically has a letter. His grandfather sent him a letter that says, "Brother dead, come home." What? That's how you? All right. I mean, get straight to the point, I guess, which is good. So he comes home. He has nightmares about Shang Tsung, killing his brother. So that leads me to believe that he already had this notice and he's just now coming home. Which is another funny thing, is because I think at some point early in the movie, he doesn't know who Shang Tsung is. Like, he doesn't know what he looks like, but he has a nightmare about him in the beginning of the film, which is odd. Another note, you can see the Jordan 5s in Liu Kang's room. I pointed this out on Twitter last year when I watched the movie when it was on Netflix. Yeah, Liu Kang had the retro 5s, which probably weren't retro at the time of the release of the movie, but he had the Jordan 5s in his room, which I think was really, really interesting. Essentially, this story is about him entering the tournament and getting revenge and defeating Shang Tsung. And a lot of other fighters are whisked away into the tournament as well. Johnny Cage enters the tournament so he can actually prove that he's a real martial artist and not some, Hollywood phony. Like, he's garnered a reputation of being a fake martial artist, and so he wants to prove that he's the real thing. Sonya just gets swept up in it because she's hunted down Kano, who killed a partner, and Kano gets on Shang Tsung's boat. And this is really a trap to get Sonya to come along. The story isn't great, in all honesty, and that's probably one of the things that you're going to see if you look up the critical reception of the film. The story isn't great. A lot of the acting isn't great either, but Christopher Lambert as Raiden's probably the best thing in this movie acting-wise, besides Kerry Tagua, I believe. I probably mispronounced his name or got it wrong, but the actor who actually plays Shang Tsung, he was pretty menacing as well. He's legitimately the only person that ever needs to play Shang Tsung. So much so that this role is so iconic that for the Mortal Kombat Legacy miniseries that they did a few years ago on YouTube, they got him to reprise the role of Shang Tsung. That's how iconic he is for this role. It has begun! But yeah, Christopher Lambert is probably the best thing as Raiden. But overall, the movie is fun. And I was really, this is the super late review that I've really been wanting to do. Because, again, I can confidently say that this is the best video game adaptation ever. If you watch the movie and you've played the games and you have some familiarity with the games, you're gonna be entertained by this movie. It's not an option. If you're not really familiar with, I think even if you're not really familiar with the games, you can still get some type of entertainment. Again, the action scenes are pretty well shot. The locations in the movie and the set design is pretty good. The acting is subpar, not really all that great, but there's a lot of fan service, but it still, kind of does its own thing, which we'll find out in the sequel. Boy, that sequel. We'll get to that later. But overall, this is a really entertaining movie, guys, and I say check it out. If you have Hulu, it's on Hulu. That's where I watched the movie, and I own it on Blu-ray. I just couldn't find my Blu-ray at the time, so I just searched to see if it was on Hulu, and it was. Hulu has both of them. You're going to enjoy a lot of the filmmaking aspects in the movie, as far as the choreography and the way that the fight scenes are shot and the locations in the film. Again, the acting isn't really all that great, but believable for the most part. The script and the story really aren't all that great, but it does its job for this type of film. So, with that being said, guys, Mortal Kombat definitely deserves a watch. Let's throw another one of these in just for good measure. Yeah, so that's my super late review for Mortal Kombat, guys. Stay tuned. I have more coming. Check out the other videos. I just recently uploaded my analysis of the Avengers Endgame Super Bowl spot. Check that out too. And yeah, I'll be talking with you guys very, very soon because I got another super late review coming up next week.